Welcome, Learning Bridge, Lesson 10. We're going to look at holding up. Let's think about what we've learnt in previous lessons. We've learnt about the odds on how cards will break, or we sometimes say split. And if the opponents have an odd number of cards, then the probable break is that they will break close to even as they can. And if they have an even number of cards, then they will break close to odd. Let's look at some examples. If the opponents have 5, then that's an odd number of cards. They're going to break close to even. So a 3-2 split is the more probable. If the opponents have 4, then they are going to break oddly. And so a 3-1 split or a 4-0 split is more probable than a 2-2. We've also looked at establishing work suits, and any suit where you hold 7 or more cards is a suit of opportunity. You may have to drive out their high cards, and that's what we're going to look at today. And you will lose perhaps a trick, maybe 2, but you must do this as soon as you can whilst you still have entries. And the mantra is lose your losers early while you still have winners in the other suits. Today's lesson, we will look at holding up, specifically holding up aces. The opposition will be trying to drive out your ace because they're trying to set up their long suit. So they will try to drive out your high cards in order to make their small cards winners, and that's what we looked at in the last lesson. Well, just don't make it easy for them. Hold it up, or sometimes we say duck. Don't play your ace until later, and a good question now would be, how much later? And we will look at that. You mainly use this technique in no trump contracts, but it could also be used in suit contracts. You hold up your ace until playing the 3rd round. Now this might be dangerous to do that in a suit contract, but holding it up for 1 round might be okay. And the mantra in no trumps is, if it's worth ducking once, it's worth ducking. As we're thinking about techniques in no trumps, we've just looked at a way that the defenders can make life difficult for declarer. And there are other ways too. So as declarer, you may need to spot the defender's safe and danger hands. A danger hand is a hand with winning cards or a very long suit, and if they've led what you believe to be forth from an honour, then it's likely that the danger hand in no trumps is that one, the lead hand. And a safe hand are those without the winning cards, and what you're trying to do by holding up the ace is to cut off their communication from the safe hand across to the danger hand by keeping the ace for as long as possible. As ever, let's have a look at some examples. Here, game has been bid in no trumps by South, North being dummy and West on lead. When West makes their lead of the King of Spades, we must think what it might mean, and as it's a no trump contract, we would expect the lead to be top of a sequence of 3. We think that West holds the King, the Queen and the Jack of Spades. Next we look at our strengths and we count our top winners. In spades we have the ace, that's 1. In hearts we have the ace, king and queen, another 3. In diamonds we don't have a top winner, and in clubs we just have the ace. We have 5 top winners. So our weakness is that we are 4 short. Opportunities. Wherever we hold 7 or more cards between declarer and dummy, it's a suit of opportunity or a work suit. So here diamonds are clearly the opportunity, but we don't hold the ace of diamonds. So the threat will be those long spades. We don't have many, they have plenty. So we're going to play the hand by using the strategy of holding up our ace. there are the hands. They won't be able to see them, but we can. And not only does West hold the king, queen and jack, they hold the 10 and the 9 as well. A very, very powerful hand, very threatening. So they play the king. We follow with the 5. East puts the 2 on, and we duck. We play the 7. So West thinks, I'll carry on with this. Plays the queen, the 6, the 3 by East, and still we duck. 8. They play the jack. We discard a club. And now East has to play their last spade, and we can take our ace. The important thing here is that we've cut off communication between East and West in the spade suit. So East cannot now lead a spade towards their partner's winning spades. We can drive out the ace by playing a diamond, and we will make the queen, jack, 10 and 9. So let's have a look at that again. This was the danger hand, and we'll play the hand again if we don't hold up. So we rush in and we think we'll take our ace. Now we try to make our diamonds, play the 5, they play low, play the king, they play the ace, and now they do have cards with which to communicate, and they will start playing their spades. And we're going to lose 4 tricks in spades and a further 1 in clubs. That's why we must hold up. If it's worth ducking once, it's worth ducking twice. So, from this lesson, what do we need to remember? When you're short, you hold up your winner. And if it's worth ducking once, it's worth ducking twice. We're trying to void one of the opposition so they cannot lead to the danger hand. So we need to try and identify the danger hand. And always we remember an odd holding breaks evenly, an even holding is more likely to break oddly. Don't forget the quiz.